Hey guys, it's Misty from the Book Rat, and this is week 2 of NaNoWriMo. Some of you are going to be like, Misty, weren't you wearing that in the last NaNoWriMo video? And yes, I was. So it is November 9th. I am about to edit the first NaNoWriMo vlog, which is, if I'm honest, probably a procrastination tool to not write, because, you know, that's what we do. But while I'm waiting for those initial files to import so I can edit them, I thought I would go ahead and intro round 2. So since I'm a little more planned this week, I thought I would kind of start a pattern. So first part of the pattern is starting word count. So for week 2, even though we're kind of actually a couple days into week 2, as I mentioned, I got a late start. So just starting today, I'm at just over 14,000 words. So when I check in at the end of this week, we'll see if I've hit whatever the target word count is for wherever I'm supposed to be at. I can't math right now. It's the day after the election. So there will be a number and hopefully I hit it. Starting off the week, as I mentioned, I'm in kind of a weird place with the story because as it turns out, it's going some places that I wasn't expecting. So though I haven't started writing yet for the day, what I did do is kind of grab my notebook and start writing down some general plot points for a 3-act, 9-block, 27-chapter structure. Now, if you don't know what that is, I'll leave, some links to it below, but it's basically a way to break down your book into manageable parts that kind of fit a general story arc. Some people follow this very faithfully. I do not. I use it as kind of general rubric. So I'm not going to necessarily end up with 27 chapters, and they're not necessarily going to fit all of the bullet points of what's supposed to be in that act or that block. But looking at it that way kind of gives me a pacing idea of where I am comparatively, because sometimes when you're writing, especially if you're a little bit of a pantser, it can feel like you're meandering. You want to know that you have a goal in sight or to keep yourself on track. So since I use Scrivener, I've got it over in the sidebar. I have all of my potential chapters labeled. I can glance over and see them, like, where am I going next? Am I heading in the right direction, or am I getting off track? Now, I had already done this once for this story, but as I said, it kind of took a turn and is going somewhere I didn't think it was going to. So I decided to take some time this morning to write it out again and see if the new plots, if it works out well, if I can make an outline for it that makes me excited. And as I mentioned in the last vlog, it felt like everything was falling into place, like all the pieces were there, which is why I'm going with it. So writing this out not only helped me determine that, but surprisingly made me realize I'm a lot farther along than I thought I was. In my old kind of outline, I felt like I was inserting a lot of chapters into the structure and was just kind of not writing myself into a corner, but writing myself into a potentially longer book than I wanted to tell, just because I felt like I wasn't progressing on my outline with the things I was adding. But when I re-broke it down into this new outline, I realized that I'm much further along in the outline than I thought I was. I was just looking at my plot points differently for that outline than I'm looking at them for this outline. So some of the things that have already happened I thought were really early on. Not early on because they're happening at the same time, but page count wise it felt like they were really early on, and now that I'm looking at it, they're where they should be, and I'm not making it excessively long. I'm not getting bogged down. They actually were falling into place right. So that was kind of interesting, and that's why it's good to stop and take stock every now and then. In NaNoWriMo, I know the push is to get as much done as fast as you can, and you don't necessarily edit. You don't remove things. Just cross them through if you don't like them, but keep that word count up, because that's the point. And so you don't want to stop and take stock because it feels like wasted time. But if you are serious about your story, and you don't want to have to dig yourself out of a lot of problems later, it might be good to sacrifice a little bit of that word count in order to save yourself some headache down the road. And I think it can also give you a boost to take stock, pick out all of the snarls that you might have, and then see what you've actually got and realize that you're there, you're doing it. So it's been a strange morning in many ways, but it's left me kind of feeling a little bit more up to the task, which is nice. But that is a really long intro according to my timestamp, so this is only day one. I need to shut up. I'm gonna go work for the week, and then I will check in with you again. Okay guys, it is the morning of the 14th, which ends the second week of NaNoWriMo, and I'm just now sitting down to write, and I thought before I did, I would go ahead and start wrapping up this check-in. It's been a slow week as far as writing goes. I've just kind of felt really drained and crappy. The other day I was awake for less than 8 hours, or just around 8 hours, before I went back to bed, and slept for almost 15 hours, so clearly it was needed, but that has meant not a lot of great writing time. I have written every day though, so that's good. I didn't skip any days. Most days I was kind of hovering around half. My goal today is to hopefully make up some of that word count, and I'm hoping to top 2,000. Maybe 2,500 or 3,000 if I really push it. I doubt it will happen because I still feel kind of crappy, but fingers crossed, you know? So I will check in at the end of today to kind of let you know what my final word count is for the week, but for now I thought we would sit down and talk about some of the things that I have loved or tried out this week. I'm going to have all of the articles I'm going to talk about linked in the description below, so make sure to check those out there. But mostly this week I kind of focused on productivity, and I think that's going to be my goal next week too, to kind of make up for this week. It was a bad week to choose productivity and then sleep for 15 hours, but that's the way it goes, I guess. So I read a few things kind of on that theme this week. One was from Rachel Aaron, and it was her sort of pyramid of productivity. Not that she called it that, but I'm calling it that, where she kind of had the goal of upping her word count drastically, and she knew if she could just break through that she was a pretty fast writer. So she talks about plotting out your scene in advance, just right before you write the scene, sitting down, taking 5 minutes, and kind of thinking the entire thing through. Trying to figure out a scene while you're in the middle of it is kind of counterproductive, and you waste a lot of time that way, and you just sit there and stare at a screen. And a couple of other articles that I read this week also talked about that. There was one from Monica Lionel, I think, had similar tips, but then also talked about some other productivity techniques and some tools. And then one from Sandy Hall on the Swoon Reads website kind of took this idea of pre-planning your scene a little bit further into an actual kind of format to plot the perfect scene within 10 minutes, and I'm gonna try that and just kind of see if there's a difference. And I think I'm also going to do what, I don't remember if it was Monica or Rachel that did this. Oh my god, I just realized that the two people that I read articles from could be from Friends. Okay, that's kind of funny. Anyway, moving on. I don't remember which of the Friends girls it was, but one of them did a spreadsheet of where they were working, how many words they got out, what technique they were using, things like that, to kind of heat map, what's working for them, what's, actually being productive. So I think I might make a quick spreadsheet. That might just be like another time sink. It might just be another thing for me to procrastinate on. But I've done heat mapping before. I think it helps a little bit. I think having something concrete that's quantifiable can really make you a little more self-aware, but you've got to stick to it because otherwise you're not getting an accurate picture. So I'm going to try those two things this coming week. Beyond that, some of the things I'm going to link. Danica Stone had an article on using deadlines to your advantage and kind of self-rewarding. I think deadlines are helpful. That's one of the things I like about Nano. The pep talk this week was from Eliadon Johnson, who talked about sort of breaking through your self-doubt. So I'll leave that linked too. And the one kind of quote from the things that I read that I really liked and I think we all need to hear came from the Sandy Hall article, and it was, all first drafts need to do is exist. Don't get hung up this month. Don't feel like you need to go back and proofread. Don't cut things because you might want them later and they're adding to your word count. You need that word count. Just get it on the paper. It doesn't matter how shitty it is. It's gonna be shitty. They're all shitty in the beginning. Even the really good ones are still kind of shitty. Get it out there. You can fix it afterwards. You can't fix something that doesn't exist to begin with. Yeah, that's where I'll leave you, I think, for the articles for this second week of Nano. I'm gonna take a little moment here to remind you to back up your work in progress. Save that shit. Put it in a Google Doc somewhere so you've got a second copy. I almost lost what I was working on twice this week, just out of sheer, stupidity and freak accidents. So, weekly, back up your shit. But I think that's enough chit chat for now, so I'm going to go ahead and get writing for the day and hopefully get a good amount done, and then I will check in with you at the end of the day to let you know my final word count and final thoughts for the week. Oh, before I go, I just wanted to tell you really quick, one of the cats that I'm house sitting, Jojo, the sweetest kitty in the whole wide world, last Wednesday or whatever day it was that I started this video, I was sitting on the couch writing and I had just turned on my sort of mellow writing playlist. I don't always write to music, but every now and then I just kind of need something to make it a little more immersive, I guess. But anyway, How Can You Mend a Broken Heart by Al Green came on, and Jojo came running over, leapt up on me on the couch, and started kneading my chest in the most uncanny instance of cat timing ever. I just had to share that. I thought that was adorable. Apparently Jojo knows how to mend a broken heart. Alright, so I got off to a good start this morning and wrote almost 1,000 words in about 25 minutes, which is fantastic. But then I had to come to a screeching halt to go help my mom with something, so I'm back now. I'm gonna make pizza for dinner, so I just threw together some dough, and I've got a 15-minute window before I need to knead it while it kind of absorbs the moisture, so 15 minutes, gonna see how many words I can get in. 413 words. Every little bit, man, and that just goes to show you, even if you don't have a lot of time to write, and it seems like 15-20 minutes is nothing, if you can get 300, 400, 500 words down in those little bits of time that you've got each night, by the end of the week, you've made a couple thousand words progress. So, butt in chair, get to work. So far, though, today has been pretty good. I think I might actually be able to hit that 3K if I keep with it. So, gonna go and knead my dough so that it can rest for a while. And while it's resting, I'll keep plugging away, and hopefully tonight I will surpass that 20,000 mark. So, fingers crossed. I am so gonna pass that 20,000 mark tonight. I just looked and I'm at 19,000, almost 19,300, so it's happening. The goal is in sight. I'm doing it. Maybe I should push for 21. Alright, so I hit my 2,500 word mark for the day and I passed the 20,000 mark, but I'm gonna break now for some pizza and to go look at the supermoon when it rises, and then I'll push on a little bit and give the final tally and final thoughts for this vlog before we wrap up, because I know it's probably a long one. Sorry. No supermoon for me because it was too cloudy. But my picture is delicious. Alright, I am done writing for the day and it's time to wrap this thing up. My computer is causing quite a glare. I did break 3,000 words today. I wrote 3,264, so yay. And I did break the 21,000 mark, which means that I got farther today than I thought I was going to, and that is fantastic and very much needed. Today was a very good day. I'm sure they're not all going to be good days, but today was a good day. I gotta say I'm liking the methods that I'm doing right now. We'll see if that pans out, over the next week or so. Could just be a fluke. But the final tallies for this second week of NaNoWriMo has me just over 21,000. So I'm at 21,013 words. The goal right now, if you stuck with the daily word count, is to be at 23,000, I believe. I am behind that, but I'm quickly closing in on it, so that's good. It's been an interesting week, and a kind of sickly one, but mostly good one, and things are looking up. And I'm hoping that things are going well for you too. I'm eager to hear about how you guys are doing in your own stories, and if you've had any breakthroughs or any frustrating moments, just kind of have a general check-in. And since this week's kind of topic is productivity tips, let me know what you do, what you found works for you, what helps you up your word count or puts you in the mood to write and just makes you productive in general. And that will kind of be our chat for this week. Everything that I talked about will be linked in the description, so you can find all of those articles and things like that there. But until next week and the next check-in, that is all for now. Thank you guys for watching, and happy writing!